I think we've only seen both of these teams, one slight adjustments on both. LFA banned first pick. Obviously, I'm assuming more so for the bruiser applications that have been seen, not to mention our base damage. Mahjong, very stereotypical. I'm wondering if teams are going to start buying into the bruiser comps, if that's what we're going to see across the BBC Joust League as a whole. Are they going to select for these traditional mage ADC single front lines? Kuzenbo. I'm waiting to see at least a first pick on both rosters, kind of get an idea. Thothman, very stereotypical. I'm wondering if they're going to let, I'm assuming it'll be a Raijin soon here to follow. X-Ball, there's the Raijin ban. Obviously, Kenji's roster able to pick first amongst what still remaining meta, if not show hand. I wonder if they're either going to go in ADC or if it's going to be a mage top pick. What's up, Sen? How are you? Baba Yaga. Obviously, we stated this over and over and over again. The applications of alternate timeline and cloak with Baba's passive being most stackable items pretty freely. I'm good, son. How are you? It's Monday night, beginning of a new week. Waiting to see how the Eboys elect to draft. I'm assuming they're going to play a more traditional comp on the side of the Eboys. Obviously, Kai and Leanne, a stereotypical, more so DPS mains. A Ganesh pick here, being hovered. Obviously, slight nerfs Ganesh receives to Dharmic Pillars, aka the damage on the ticks accordingly. You over a E-Shell. Now, E-Shell is an interesting pick. Obviously, notably, more often than not picked up because of lack of mobility. However, the mitigations being added to her alt, or buffed, if you will, I mean, a big step for her. Kind of seen her come to the forefront a little bit more. My 9th favorite. Damn, that's a long list. I'm hurt. So far down. I'll have to, respectfully remove a couple from the list, you know what I'm saying? Turn that 9 upside down. Ah. Well, I see what you did there. A Hachi pickup. So it would look like Kenji roster looking for this traditional double DPS pickup. It is Yulian. I'm assuming, obviously, needing a fizz on the side of Eboys. I wonder if that's going to be an assassin or most are, again, both these rosters maybe draft for a traditional ADC mage frontline. There's the Hoi. Okay, so there's your standard traditional mage ADC solo frontline on the side of the Eboys. Obviously, I'm assuming it's going to be the very same. I'm kind of shocked Kabrakan is left open here. Maybe listing to go for a comfort pick in this Atlas. I'm not a fan of the Atlas pick into the Ganesh. I feel like the Atlas or the Kabrakan might have been really large for them. The root immunity would have done really well into the E-Shell. We able to just popular one to stun out the Ganesh for the silence. Would have been a much better pick here in my mind. Obviously, still going to be operated really well for the slows for the E-Shell. But we'll see how it goes in. So game number 1, go right into it. Scoot over my camera.
How do you hit Grandmaster 2 weeks? Grab a 3-man, build chemistry, play meta. Easy. GG. You win. You're a GM. As far as rosters, I was favoring Kenji's until we saw the Atlas lock in. I don't know. I still semi-favor Kenji, but at the same time, they have no real way to get to this Hou-Yi, so I feel like if the Hou-Yi just pops off late game and just does a ton, because they have no way to really do that outside of just pure damage from this Hachi Baba Yaga, it should be curtains for the Kenji roster accordingly. Looks like the E-Shell is going to be going the standard stereotypical Vampiric into Pythags, I'm assuming into Breastplate. Going that 40% CDR. Baba going the Book, or Sands into Book of Thoth. I'm assuming a Cloak second. Hachi getting a little poke with a banner. Both mages hovering, so starting blues. See who clears first. Baba dashing for some of her damage. Hachi throwing banner over. E-Shell just clearing. Decent Hou-Yi bounce. Going over the melees onto the archers. Getting a nice triple bounce. Ganesh stepping in front of the Ganesh, done decent damage turned out by the Baba. Eboys a little worse for wear as far as damage done to them. The stun by Ganesh. E-Shell burst damage there to follow up on this Atlas. What looked favorable for the Kenji roster suddenly turned in favor of the Eboys. Beads immediately forced out by this Ganesh E-Shell onto the Baba. Gotta be careful of that big burst by the E-Shell. Eboys able to secure, however that might be just enough damage and isn't. Shell a little premature. Hou-Yi looking for that bounce. Unable to catch the wall. Hachi, burned all 3 relics on the side of Kenji and company. Honestly, a net win considering you get possibly 3 buffs here. And do. So a big start for the E-Boys, all 3 buffs. A triple relic usage on the side of Kenji's. Now, they got to be careful. We hit this level 5. This turns out to be really good for the E-Boys. Decent damage by the Atlas, putting them low. Hachi not level 5 to really ult that. Getting out just in time. Baba does have ult. Curious to see E-Shell leveling the 1 versus the 2 for the healing. Assuming both teams are going to be elected backing here, going for those T2 item spikes that aren't already. E-Shell grabbing Pythags. Not quite yet. Thebes for the Ganesh. Blue's going to be picked up by both rosters, going for mid-wave and then prep for red. Chester's pulled from the corners by both rosters. Good adjustments. Ganesh just hitting Thebes, I'm assuming, backing up now. Giving a full wave to his DPS. Notable, the Ganesh just getting Thebes on Atlas yet to have T2. I want to see this Atlas back shortly here for that big thief start. Hou Yi hovering. I'm assuming looking for a cheeky bounce. Hou Yi getting that triple bounce onto the Hachi, doing good damage. Atlas yet to back for full thieves. Already got 8 stacks. About to clear in for more wave. The Ganesh. Oh, maybe a bit of miscommunication. Surely we get a little bit more damage turned onto this Ganesh. Big ult, slow. Ganesh ult forced. There's that thieves coming through. The healing. Ixal just trying to heal. Keep him alive, and does. A big misplay. Just not enough damage through the Ixal healing. Atlas just getting thieves up now. Baba just trying to turn any damage. Gotta be a little careful. Big damage by the Baba onto the Hou Yi, forcing the Hou Yi back. Atlas all not close enough to death or kill threshold. So T2, I'm assuming is going to be a Shogun's for the Hou Yi. Almost breastplate. Again, T2 breastplate for the Ixal going this bruiser build. Don't worry, you can always watch it back, Kai. Don't worry. Let's get Ash already having thieves and almost stacking thieves. 13 stacks off, and T2 magical. The Baba damage immediately slowed onto this Ganesh. Banner trying to poke them out versus clearing wave. Able to secure their own blue, however that damage turned back around. Ganesh gonna stun out. Is that really enough damage though? Two ults immediately used by the Eboys. A possible overextension, just not. I can't really call it an overextension if they're not punished by any sense of the word. Two ults utilized. I want to see something from this Kenji roster really making use of the fact 2 ults are down. Looks like we're going to go a Pride one on the Atlas. Again, doubled bounce onto the Hachi, putting some damage out. Now they backed. I'm not a big fan of the back timers here by the Eboys. Should be giving up red. Hou Yi trying to look for that cheeky bounce to steal it. Hachi's got to be a little careful. Ixal does have breastplate with Pythags. Why just off the mark. Baba putting a fair amount of damage forward onto this Eboys roster. Purple and Chester's are up, which is where the Hou Yi is pathing. Rest of his roster kind of pushed out. Baba hovering. Ixal's aware. Big damage. The dash out by the Ganesh. Surely we can turn some damage. A big pull in. Atlas kind of stuck in the middle of all three. Ixal healing through. Shell utilized. Hachi alt. Just not enough damage to come forth from it. Banner just off the mark. Might have killed in response. Small margins by both teams there. Almost proves that Isha all proving the difference for this Eboys roster. Obviously, the Ganesh Hou-Yi alts combined really gridlocking this Atlas. Hou-Yi stepping for the purple buff. Lead not substantial yet, however, almost 1,500. Good damage put out by the Baba Yaga onto this Hou-Yi, forcing him to back. Lit under a minute for red. Blue is up. Timers were staggered, however, not really able to step up here. Ganesh kind of zoning off the pathing. I love that pathing by the E-Shell. Good poke, full combo connecting on 2. Obviously, Eboy is having some of that poke slash pressure. Immediate stun. I love that combo. Onto the Hachi. Completely set up via the CC from the E-Shell, then stunned by the Ganesh. Good double alt Ganesh Hou-Yi, E-Shell, or triple alt for that matter. Really cleanly played by the E-Boys onto the 2. What's up, Terrified? How are you? Bull immediately pulled. Baba aware she can't really do anything. Her teammates are still on the gray screen for at least 3, electing to go red. Hou-Yi with Ozzy able to solo pick that up. Ganesh trying to buy a little time for the She-Shell to get to a point where you possibly challenge. Alright, Slayness. Gotta practice and keep working on for the next one. Silence immediately. 2 out of the 3 alts used by Kenji's company. Big damage onto this Ganesh proving just not enough. Decent heal by the E-Shell too. Big Ganesh. Alt forcing Hachi beads. E-Shell just healing through the Ganesh. The healing proving just too much. Ganesh dash in. Good beads by the Baba Yaga, securing the kill and getting out. Gotta be a little careful. They did secure T1. Walk away with just 1 down. Good bounce, putting out good damage on the Baba, making her step back. Purple should be popping or respawning here shortly. Both Chesters are up. Hou-Yi pathing for blue. Big damage onto this Hachi. Switching to the keyboard and mouse. Big, big. The lead completely, slowly or almost staggeringly progressing toward the E-Boys. Especially with all the healing E-Shell's putting out within her alt. The only anti-heal we're seeing on the side of Kenji is this Divine. Pesty picked up. Broke your keyboard? No. You broke your controller. Have to put yourself on a keyboard and mouse. A Ganesh blank immediately into a stun. Hou-Yi alt coming across. E-Shell just trying to heal while damaging this Baba Yaga. Bird is up. Hachi alted in. Hou-Yi up down. A 1-for-1 trade thus far. Baba's in alt. Gotta put any damage forth. Ganesh done just off the mark. Baba, big damage. Baba poking on this Ganesh slowly. Shall trying the very best to heal it back. Red should be secured. Obviously, the Pythags into what's going to be a Typhons for the percent pen, plus the passive with the extra healing given by Vamp. Hui jumping to get the red and gets there. Hachi looks to challenge, dashing away. Bull is spawned. Baba doing wonders with this range poke. Atlas stepping up. Got to be careful of that silence. This should be the possible gridlock. Decent poke onto the Atlas. Hachi getting some range ones. Gotta be a little careful. Ganesh shall getting poked down, and the Hoodie pass out. Looking for that bull. Should be picking this up shortly with Ozzy. And is. Bull half health. You gotta be a little careful. There's Ganesh alt the zone. Down to a quarter. Baba alting through. Bull's secured. I want to see that target selection. Ganesh should be the target. And is. Hoi trying to return any damage he can onto this Atlas. We have a wave push, so that would be a possible T1 here. Big damage turned on to this Atlas. Possibly one, if not two autos away from securing that kill. What's up, Amadeus? I love your music, by the way. Hopefully your stream went well. What's up, Swag? Swag Master Flux. Bull only half time used. So he's hovering, Ganesh pathing down. Hoi just waiting for this Ganesh to get in a position here. Position over here. Waiting for a wave. Hoi doesn't have ult. Ult immediately forced by this Atlas pull onto this E-Shell. Not enough damage. Hoi just trying to secure the bird. Big damage by this Baba Yaga onto this Hoi. Should prove just enough. Dashing forward to get any kind of damage he can. Potion just off the mark. Hachi ulted forth. Does able to secure. Good banner. That's a 2 for nothing. I want to see someone grab that wave. A big fight for Kenji and company. This is kind of an awkward moment because we left just melees here. Yishao able to turn this if need be. Netted nothing because we didn't grab wave, unfortunately. Yishao chasing this down. Beads immediately forced. Aegis as well, trying to look for that secure kill. Shell is used as well. Surely. Oh no. A possible double kill in a 3v1 situation by a Bruiser E-Shell. Titan. Oof. Pythags doing wonders. Both relics forced off the Hachi. Both relics forced off of the E-Shell on return. Looking for that 2-for-1 situation. Ganesh Hoi able to step up confidently. Got to be a little careful though. Hachi just spawning, so it turns into a 3v2, having to back off. Wait for that E-shell and immediately go for a bull. Ganesh can be a little careful. He is here alone. However, immediately being the center of focus. Hoi combo a little off the mark. Baba turning good damage onto this Hoi. Atlas can't be a little overconfident. Ganesh dash off the mark. Hoi did stay. Decent ult. See this engage. Immediately good damage turned onto this Ganesh. The healing by Ishao keeping it alive. A little miscommunication, such mistiming by Kenji and company. A big silence on this Ganesh. Catching that blink. The blink engage was hoping to turn that completely around. Hachi just securing the tower, and should. Does secure it. Atlas getting out. Be a little careful. Good slow on the E-shell. Hachi turning some damage back. Baba dashing in. Hoi should be the center focus, and is. Atlas got to be a little careful. It doesn't caught. This could be that big turnaround we discussed. E-shell forced to back. Get bird here. Ganesh down for 12. E-shell healing, making sure they can't end. A big swing for the Kenji roster. Looks like we're going for the end. I'm not a big fan of the Atlas hovering that low. Immediately getting picked out. Relic's Force should prove the end for Baba as well. A big swing back based off that overextension. I would have liked to see the Kenji and company. They did really well with those original fights. Just back up. Leave with the win for the bird. Have fireways and then look for that pressure directly after back. You need some of that with power spikes. You even the state of the game. However, now you put yourself in a really awkward situation. That return bird. Hachi desperately trying to return any kind of damage. Atlas down for 10. He's hovering. Hachi doesn't have bees. Got to be a little careful. Able to get dash out. Atlas is up. Baba down for 16. He goes for that blink. Ishao just healing as much as possible. Should be the end. Just enough. Just enough. These margins swinging back and forth. Ishao ult proving to save Ganesh's ult so many times, or Ganesh's life so many times, turning most of those fights. A little bit of an overextension / overstay by Kenji's general misplays. I would like to see maybe a little bit different prioritization on the last pick by Kenji's company. The Atlas pick, while it might be a comfort into a Ganesh, just doesn't feel great. You can't dash in aggressively because then you're just going to get full comboed by this full roster with Ganesh, root, not slash into a knockup, E-shell combo, Ganesh alt, Hoi alt. Like, as soon as you dash, you're dead. You can't really go for those big pulls because Ganesh is just going to silence you out. So it turns into a bit awkward. Like I said originally, some of those adjustments, possibly a different frontline pick, especially at the end. One of the most OP parts of being your first pick in draft is you get to be first and last. Grabbing one of those meta picks, but immediately getting last pick, seeing the enemy team's comp, rounding out your own. I want to see a little bit of that adjustment via the Kenji roster. However, like I said, most of it just comes down to just general map play and awareness. Grab that T1, grab that bird, immediately back out. Atlas overstaying, or both Atlas and Atlas and Baba getting picked immediately turned it, allowed it to go game for game number 1. Excited to see what adjustments we make. A little bit almost like target ban-esque, a E-shell Hoi ban. 2 out of the 3 picked up by Eboys roster, originally banned out. Possibly just trying to force them, actually the full 3. All 3 originally banned out, forcing them onto a completely different pick for game number 2.
leaving some of those prio picks, if you will, up. Thoth being one of them. Interesting draft adjustment by this Kenji roster. I'm interested to see what we do and maybe edit, if you will, via the Eboys and company. LaFay was left wide open for that bruiser. That bruiser build we saw in the E-Shell does just as well, if not Morgan. It does more, obviously, on this Morgan. The 40% cooldown, the lifesteal, the pure base damage on this guy, I'm going to be doing a ton. However, we saw a ton of the value utilized by E-Shell last game was the healing, either via the alt or via 2. Interested to see how that works. They did just ban the whole last team. So what we saw originally in the 2 bans in game number 1, now immediately drafted on this Eboys roster. Okay, so I like the Bacchus pick. Obviously, again, like we discussed, Bacchus being knockups being one of the biggest CCs or best CCs in the game. However, you got to be a little careful as a solo frontline. If they elect to go the solo frontline agent for this Kenji roster, if you flop in and you don't have any getaway or escape, immediately locked down, you're just dead. So I think those communication needs to be really clean by this Bacchus. The good anti-hail application, however. X-Ball turning out the lights and just the base power off this passive, going to be able to shred as soon as it hits 4 or 5 items. So I want to see a little bit of an adjustment as far as gameplay by both these teams. So Kabrak and Ares immediately banned out. A Emoja pick. Okay. I don't mind this. Obviously, the healing, if the LaFay goes that bruiser build, the healing's going to be improving a ton. Thoth's not a great applier of anti-heal and Nike pickup. So that double front line allowing a little bit more forgiveness. We got to be a little careful, though. So while I love this double frontline Thoth pokes and then we go for those secures, it's almost a double front line if this LaFay builds like we'd mentioned. Same build as the E-Shell built last game. It's going to be a double front line via double front line. And I will favor the X-Ball late game once you get to build treading through tanks, more consistent true damage versus a Thoth. What I'm interested to see, obviously, is the relic pickups by both rosters. Traditionally, in the Emoja, especially, I want to see a Curse Knock. I want to see more specifically a Phantom Shell to walk out of Emoja wall / alt, right? But a possible Curse Knock pickup. But for the Emoja into this company, I wouldn't mind a Sunder, obviously, for the Nike Shield, possible Pride one on the Bacchus, but a Blink. If the Emoja is really good, getting a Blink and try to structure those walls, kind of trapping them off, would be a really big play. I'm interested to see how both these rosters do it, kind of trying to close that gap on that Thoth. If they W key it down, kill the Thoth, it should prove curtains. Interested to see what they elect to do. So already a shell. I want to see a second shell here. And one of them, okay, here's the second. I want to see first items and then immediately Phantom Shell by at least one of them. So we elect to go shell in return. I would have liked to see a Sunder or Heavenly for the Nike slow, right? Then alt, when she alts get that slow. Or a possible, like I said, Heavenly or Sunder. Maybe she goes Wingblade so she doesn't need the Heavenly. We'll see how she decides to go with that. She's going well, Greatest. How are you? I would like to see a little bit of an adjustment here on as far as Relic, as far as the solo front line, but can't hit it, can't knock it. We all need practice, Lanus. Don't ever worry about it. Don't overthink it. Thoth dashing, looking for that blue. Eboys still hovering for mid lane. No, we have this set. We have one directly after at 9. This is just the first set we're watching. So 2 sets tonight. Thoth dashing, trying to go for that wave clear versus rooting the Emoja. Notably, it looks like the LaFay going to that build we discussed earlier. I love the double knock up based off that jump. Gotta be a little careful to slow off the X-Ball. We were able to secure flop little off the mark.
we're able to secure red buff via the Kenji company. I wouldn't have minded that Nike on that pathing upwards grabbing that red buff, knowing Thoth had blue buff on it. A possible misplay. Does anyone look to go get that? I would have wanted when the Nike pathed up to grab red. However, red left to expire. X-Ball not able to secure it. So 3 buff lead there by Kenji and company, which is great. Love that start for Kenji and company as far as the pressure. Now you want to build off this pressure, trying to combo these alts once you actually get level 5 backing for T2s. If we're able to get a nice pick or two and start playing off that pressure, that'd be the perfect lead or start. The last thing you want to do is allow an ADC or this Eboys roster to stay even and then immediately go into late game even state, if not ahead. They're just going to be shredding through you with no escape. I'm keeping an eye on nice knock up. Shall use Thothal off the mark. I am keeping an eye on second relics here. Mainly, obviously, the Lefay is going more bruiser. Either one of these go blink, if not both of them, or asunder. And then I'm keeping an eye on that Phantom Shell on the side of Kenji and company. I think Relic's going to play a massive part in this game and how they're utilized. Yeah, Bolden is the one that commentated with me last week. Yes, sir. Getting the stun off before Fearless. I wonder if there's a coin or Chronos Pen. If it's Chronos Pen, it'd be 30% CDR. Just looking for constant poke. I'm not sure. I would like to see a coin Marso, especially the double bruiser size tank. Then a Chronos Pen here. But we'll see. I'm assuming that's going to be a Rune Forge on the Nike versus... Hey, look at the stun. Got to be a little careful. Having a flop out. Obviously, flopping in would have spelled sudden death. Alts were up on both teams. Chester is up. Red is spawning. Possible misplay again by pathing. This should allow Eboys to get that red buff. What was a 3 buff swing for Kenji and company now turns into an even trade. So a nice adjustment by the Eboys. Should be a big power spike back here by Eboys, giving Pythags for this Lefay. Chester is up. I'm assuming that's either a T2 or a starter for the X-Ball. And there's the starter. Chronos Pen on the Thoth, going for that 30% CDR right away. Constant poke, constant pressure. However, this Lefay going more of this bruiser build. I want to see him connect as much as possible onto this X-Ball. The issue is the healing. This Emoja facilitating from the back. Constant healing from her auto attacks, but also the 2. We're going to need some major anti-heal. Possible divine, obviously needed by this Thoth next item. Nike jumping in, alt used. Does the Thoth connect? Big knock up. Thoth alt contacting a perfect combo by Kenji and company. Really well done. The double knock up. Nike jump. Thoth contacting alt. Good route. 2 out of the 3 on the 1. Firmly contacting on this Lefay. A buff swing inside of Kenji. So it's got that pressure we talked about earlier. Getting that 1, if not 2 kills. Playing off that pressure, playing around these alts. I need to see Phantom Shell immediately upgraded here. Because all it's going to take is when you're poked down a little bit, and then you get locked down by this Emoja alt. Once we have build on this X-Ball and Lefay, you're immediately targeted. We just heal through and just blow you up. Your flop is your only escape, and if I'm using that aggressively, I want to see an escape out. So electing to go the T2s versus a Phantom Shell here. I'm assuming that's going to be a Pasty for the anti-heal. So Pasty, what I'm assuming is going to be a Divine. Obviously, anti-heal being prioritized second item slot. Instead of going breastplate second, magical defense elected for by the LaFay. Obviously, you know that range poke from the Thoth, a good adjustment versus going the breastplate right away. Playing to that double magical Bacchus Thoth. Thoth is able to contact, just not enough damage. A little miscommunication there. I think the biggest portion of that being the Bacchus wasn't part of that. Obviously, alt and full kit was up. The prioritization or a little disconnect allows the X-Ball to escape. 2 alts used. I wouldn't have minded if we got a little bit more aggressive. But I definitely think the disconnect on the side of Kenji and company proving just enough for the X-Ball to get out. Thoth going blue. Red should go in favor of the Eboys. Good stun by the Emoja one. Got to be a little careful. Emoja does a vault. If you flop in, that's going to prove, like we discussed earlier. I love this corridor for red buff, especially with this poke. Emoja could really lock somebody down if they jump in. She's hovering, looking for those walls. I want to see no later that we get Divine and Pesty, aka 2 anti-heals. Divine for the Thoth, Pesty for the Bacchus, that we immediately look for a Phantom Shell, allowing us to flop in or jump in by these double front lines a little bit more aggressively. Dominance being elected for the mana. Thoth back got caught. X-Ball alt used. Is it just enough? And is getting the bat caught. That should prove a 1-for-1 though. Good play by the Nike trying to make use. Getting just enough damage down. This is game number 2. E-Boys are up 1-0. There's blood on my face. Thoth getting caught there, a little unfortunate. So that's pretty bad considering it was mid-wave. Not a fan or thrilled. Going prophetic. Runeforge, then prophetic. Not thrilled by that either. I would have liked this adjusted here, but obviously the anti-heal like we discussed. Pesty the Divine. I want to immediately see these turn into Phantom Shells now with the double 2 items. Here's what we talked about. We don't have Phantom Shells, and the Emoja loves these corridors with alt. So you gotta be a little careful. There's those alt. Now you're trapped in here with them. No Phantom Shells. LaFay getting an alt across 3. This is that devastation we had talked about. Even with both shells used. And the Bacchus flops in. That should spell an end of all 3 and is. There's that balance. Immediately, as soon as Thoth dashes, that proves a clean wipe. Should result in a T1 here. I mean, it doesn't matter, though. Like, you can't... So you have to go Phantom Shell at latest after a second item because of that, right? I can't step into pressure bull. We can immediately pressure. You step in this corridor, Emoja gets alt, now you're stuck, and you can't even contest bull. Like, it has to be that way. You have to have Phantom Shell no later than second. This, we keep going and no Phantom, or it hurts you. Now this Thoth can't even position here without possibly getting caught. Then they disengage and just wipe you. And as soon as your tanks jump in, your jumps are down, your escapes are down, you get gridlocked by Emoja alt. The range doesn't matter if I get on top of you. Getting close to these second relics, obviously ticking to level 11s. I'm interested to see what this LaFay, Emoja, and then Bacchus, Nike go as far as second relics. X-Ball pathing, able to get behind this Thoth. Thoth's going to have to dash here. Got to be a little careful. Feather popped by this X-Ball dashing in. Thoth able to contact alt, but just not enough damage. Nike alt just off the mark. Onto this X-Ball. Lops in LaFay. Big exchanges. X-Ball ulting across. LaFay going for that 1v1 in the back. Secures it. If X-Ball gets out here, it's a 1-0 trade. X-Ball just getting out. You know, big portion of that is the Chester movement speed, getting the X-Ball just out of the Nike alt in time, being a big portion of that play. These Chester placements might have proved pivotal for that X-Ball in that fight. X-Ball able to pick up Bull with Ozzy by himself. Launch here. Bull's half health. That should pretty much spell the end for Bull, secured by Eboys. Obviously, this bruiser build on LaFay gonna prove incredibly hard. Almost this double frontline S. Still no Phantom Shell on this side. Gotta be a little careful this Yamoja if she's able to catch you. Or get position for these alts. Just looking for the wrap. It's one of those awkward moments. If they jump in, Yamoja just alts it. Nike alting. It is a double blink. That seems almost disrespectful of sorts, with a blink on the X-Ball, feeling confident enough to do that. Able to secure the kill on the Bacchus, being there by himself. A blink on the X-Ball is just incredibly unfortunate. Feeling that confident and not being able to be punished. Might not even make it. Bacchus is up in 10. It should be decent poke by the Eboys, and I want to see an disengage. Moja does have ult. So a chase down here seems almost impossible. Thoth ult. Possibly just off. There's the Emocha ult, creating some of that separation / disengage. Nike jumping over. Good slow by the LaFay. X-Ball able to get back off. Titan was poked down a little bit. Red is up. Red able to be secured by the Nike. LaFay looking for any kind of damage she can. You gotta be careful. The X-Ball did go blink. I think that Bacchus burp just catching the X-Ball was hovering / televising a little bit that he wanted to get that blink off. Bacchus being the engage. The auto just not enough. X-Ball ult wasn't up to get those range. LaFay Aegis forced. X-Ball blinks path to Thoth to try to get some of that damage off. Bacchus flopping in, gets that secure and ult. Pride 1 proc if he's able to hover it. Just enough damage. A 2v2 now. You gotta be really conscious of the fire minions that are pouring in. Chester up in the corner. Both remaining E-Boys able to get back. A triple blink on the side of the E-Boys. So there's that adjustment. I talked about the blink. Obviously not such a bad surprise by the Emoja with his pressure. If you're able to get, especially with no Phantom Shot. Like this just proves me, when we get this blink here, if she gets a blink ult and these are not upgraded, this Thoth gets locked down. That's just Jeej. We have to have this prioritization. Bacchus did flop in. I want to see that lockdown. So here's that gridlock we talked about. Is it enough though? Thoth ult contacting 3, but still proving not enough. Big damage by the Thoth. Just not enough damage turned. Emoja easily healing it up with her passive autos. and a 2. That should be Bird and is. LaFay blinks on the Thoth, forcing beads. Reclaps by LaFay. Thoth trying to get any damage onto this DPS backline. Nike does jump in. Thoth dashes forward. Bacchus able to secure the kill. This could be another possible turnaround here. Thoth able to get a big pickup here for Kenji. Now this is a 30-second timer on 2. Bull elected to be picked up here. I'm not sure I'm thrilled by the Bull pickup versus clearing wave, possibly getting T1, getting red and backing off. Thoth utilized to secure, notifying the LaFay that they're here. Bacchus the only one caught. Should be just fine, able to path out. Fire waves are pushing, red going onto the X ball. Still not upgraded Phantom. Notably, this Yamoja does have Blink and Alt. Slows from the Yamoja one. Faye just pathing under. Big Nike Blink Alt trying to get on this X ball. This fight is split. Yamoja ulting to section off to make sure that the Thoth can't back out. Aegis forth. Big dash by Thoth. This is good damage. Private and proc. Just not enough damage quite yet. Able to secure the X-Ball kill. It's actually turned in big favor. Gotta be a little careful. We're timer almost on the fire wave pushing. I'm a little concerned, however, as soon as that fight shifts, obviously we're leaving X-Ball a little bit on an island. If we facilitate this X-Ball via the Eboys, I think that just turns into curtains for the Kenji roster. I like them getting on top and splitting this fight, pushing the X-Ball out and making him feel that pressure, allowing this game to go long. However, the Thoth relics are getting forced. Beads are coming up. We need, in all caps, the Phantom Shells upgraded, trying to facilitate and cover this Thoth. Bird is spawning. Last fire wave in mid. Bull's down for a little while here. X-Ball picking up purple. X-Ball grabbing Chesters and backing. Notable, he's going, I'm assuming he's going to be a Mantle of Discord here on the X-Ball. Interested to see once and if that gets utilized in a big way. X-Ball holding shield, making sure we get no big value via the X-Ball ult. A big Nike shield kind of blocking those X-Ball autos proved immense. Fire wave is here. Yamoja blinks. Thoth able to get out because Yamoja didn't have dash or ult, I mean. X-Ball able to get on top of this Thoth. What turns into a possible end for the Eboys. That should spell GG, and is. The blink on the Yamoja took me by surprise. I thought she had ult, so I was like, oh, here comes the section off ult. However, just a little bit of the bait, allowing that LaFay to try to get on top, forcing that Thoth dash. Most of the dash was down. X-Ball now blinking, and then dash after the Thoth, securing the Thoth kill.